Time for another episode of Smoke Signals. I'm Matt Montgomery along with head football coach Wayne Coleman. And Coach, I see this game last Friday night against Lindale, and it's like double vision. Jacksonville doubled Lindale in just about every category. I want to talk some about those stats, talk a little bit about those, your overall impressions of the game.
We played one of our better games, very clean game, no turnovers. Defense played better than they've been playing, stepped up, made plays. Offense executed really well. Somehow found a way to come out behind on the scoreboard.
We're scratching our heads still. I mean, look, these stats are amazing. 464 yards of total offense for Jacksonville on 74 plays versus Lindale with 298 total yards, half the plays, 38 plays. Your time of possession, 32 minutes offensively. Lindale only had it 16 minutes, so you doubled them there. It doesn't make sense, does it?
They were very happy after the game to win that game. That's sometimes you win games you shouldn't win. Sometimes you lose games you shouldn't lose, and that was one. That was one of those Friday night that should have been flipped the other way. We just, we ended the first half on their end of the field in scoring position. We ended the game on their end of the field in scoring position, and in those two possessions, you got to get one of those scores.
You talk about improvement each week, and you've already mentioned the defensive improvement, and you also mentioned no turnovers, and you also took one turnover that Lindale had, and you turned that into a touchdown, and those are the kind of things that you got to have to win ball games.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've got a really good ball club. That's their best team in years. They've got a great
30-something seniors.
Yeah, they've got a great team, and those kids from Lindale found a way to win the game, and they made plays, big plays at the end of the game when they had to make them. But our kids are really coming along. The system, I mean, we're executing the read option stuff really well right now on offense, and then on defense, we did some stuff up front, some slants and stuff that I think are helping our kids with their quickness and helping us make more plays on defense.
Yeah, Cameron High, monster game, 32 carries, 305 yards, 3 touchdowns, a record for Jacksonville High School from the quarterback position running the football. As you said, tremendous job, and of course, Jamadrick Taylor had a good game running the football. Offensive line blocked well. I think, Coach, you look at that ball game and you say, how did this happen? How did you lose by a touchdown? And some of it was big plays by Lindale. They had 4 touchdown passes, and they were not all of them were long. They had a couple of short ones, and we'll see some highlights in a minute. But you guys made some major changes this past week, and those changes really paid off in this ball game.
Yeah,
personnel-wise.
Yeah, sure. We put some smaller guys on the defensive line because we knew we were going to slant around a lot and do some stunts. And Wuda did a great job at defensive tackle, and we put our sophomore Garan down at defensive tackle, and he made some plays in the backfield. And we had a lot of different kids doing some different stuff. Monty took almost all the snaps at running back. It's just, things worked out well for us. We made good moves. We almost pulled off a big upset.
Yeah, and I thought Isaiah Mayfield played great in the secondary until he was injured, didn't get to come back in the second half. I thought that hurt you defensively too, because he was really playing well.
Yeah, Isaiah had his best game of the year. He was making some plays, and then he got the concussion, and that kind of hurt us a little bit. We had to move some more people around, but that was a big play in the game when we lost Isaiah. So the kids aren't giving up. We're looking for answers. We're moving kids around, and they're playing better every week.
Well, with nearly 500 yards of total offense, there were a lot of highlights. Let's take a look at some of those now. Jacksonville versus Lindale. Coach's first place, Cameron doing what he does so well here.
Yeah, got a quarterback draw right there, and of course he's a great open field runner. The first guy never tackles him, and the quarterback draw has been a big play for us the last couple weeks.
Here's Lindale on offense, and they kind of found it going tough a few times right here.
Yeah, got some kids running some slants there, Lacey and Wuda in the backfield making a play.
Here's a nice play by your sophomore, Garan.
Yes, he had a couple tackles for loss. We're really pleased with Garan.
Of course, here's Cam keeping for 31. Watch how he bounces outside here.
Yeah. Offensive line did a good job. Got a big trap block there by Lavender. Big play.
And here's a new kind of a new wrinkle you guys did the other night. A little underneath pass to Monty coming out of the backfield for a touchdown.
Yeah, a little slip screen there to Monty. The screen game hadn't been very good to us this year, but Lindale had been burned on the screens a little bit in the past, so we put that back in play.
Now here's a strange play where Lindale scores. The guy lays down. And,
they do a little hide out there.
Yeah.
And our guy that was in man coverage on him,
Lee Traylor caught that when he was putting this together. I didn't even see him fall down and come back up and catch that. That was a pretty good catch. And here's a handoff to their big running back Taylor for 48.
Yeah, we did such a good job of containing him most of the night, but he got away on that one.
Well, Coach, you said the kids are still playing hard, and you didn't get the win. Lindale gets it 35-28 by a touchdown. You had a 20-7 lead at one point. Felt pretty good. Lindale is just, this, as you said, this is their best football team they've had in years. So from an emotional standpoint, it had to be a lift for your kids to play well, but I know in the end, what a letdown not to get the win.
No doubt, it hurt, but it helps. It helps when you play well. It's easier to bounce back when you know you played well. Yeah. And from a coaching standpoint, it's harder to. I mean, it's easier to crack the whip on the boys when they play well because they know what you're doing is right, and they see the benefits of following the process, and it's paying off for them. And this week, I think it's going to pay off in a win against Nacogdoches.
And this week it is Nacogdoches at Dragon Stadium. And anytime Jacksonville and Nacogdoches gets together, Coach, I hope you read your contract. When we play Nacogdoches, those games can last a while.
Yeah, we're going to try not to go to overtime.
Last year was 5 overtimes at Tomato Bowl, and Jacksonville got the win. Now, of the teams in 16-5A, Nacogdoches is the team that I can't figure out the most. Mm-hmm. Their season has been up and down more than anybody's. Talk about the Dragons and what's going on with those guys. They get beat 38-0 by Corsicana, and then they come back. I mean, by Lufkin, right. And this is a team that's done some different things.
And they played Ennis really tough.
Yeah, that's the game I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Ennis touchdown.
They're hit and miss right now. They're struggling a little bit, kind of like us. They'll play good one week and they'll play not so good the next week. So they're looking for consistency the same way we are. And if we can find the consistency, if we can repeat last week's performance with that effort, that execution, I think we'll be in good shape.
Of course, Nacogdoches has one of the most highly recruited players in the state of Texas, in Brandon Jones, and it looks like they've been trying to figure out what to do with this young man. And he started off mainly on defense. They moved him to some running back. Now I understand he's out at receiver some, so he's a guy I know you have to watch for.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to make sure when he's on defense, you've got somebody blocking him. You don't want him getting free hits on your runners in the open field, especially the way that Cam breaks loose sometimes. You want to make sure you've got somebody blocking him. And then on offense, they're trying to, they run a lot of 4 wide sets, so they're trying to mix him into their passing game.
They had to replace their quarterback from last year. It was pretty good. So are they still doing the same thing that they've done that you've seen on film?
Yeah, a lot of spread, a little bit of speed option mixed into it, which we haven't seen very much of. So we've got to be prepared for that. And it'll be one of the first teams that's been in what we call 10 personnel with no tight end, 1 back. But we get them in White House back to back, both spread teams that'll run the same offense. So that's a benefit.
I say this every week going into the game. At least I've said it the last 3 or 4 weeks. Whoever's playing Jacksonville when they come to the game, Jacksonville better be ready to throw the ball because they're going to key on Cam High and they're going to take away the zone read. So far, that hasn't happened. What do you see this week as far as Nacogdoches defensively? Are they going to be the team that's going to be able to slow you guys down that way?
That's a great question. I know everybody looks for answers. I know Lindale was confused last Friday night. When you've got Brandon Jones at safety, you hate to mess around with your defense too much. You hate to get away from your base defense because then you're gambling when maybe you don't have to gamble. I would imagine we'll go into the game in Nacogdoches. They'll try to play their base and put Brandon Jones on Cam High.
Yeah, spine.
Sure.
That's the way I was thinking, spine.
And then we'll go from there, make their adjustments from there. But that means we've got to be able to make our adjustments also.
Coach, it seems like since the Ennis game, the last couple ball games, you guys have made some improvements defensively, particularly on tackling. And I know that's something that isn't cured overnight, but it seems like the players, we saw some of the highlights a moment ago, the kids are wrapping up a lot better defensively. And is that a result of just the kids, just buying into what Coach Kennedy's doing as the defensive coordinator, or is it more in terms of you guys are just finding the right guys to be in the right spots now?
It helps that you get the guys in the right places. It helps when everyone does their job and plays assignment football and the running lanes aren't so big. It's hard to tackle most kids if it's in open field. So last week we did a great job of squeezing everything at the line of scrimmage. There wasn't a lot of holes for the guy to run through. The one time he gashed us, we just opened it up too big for him. But everybody's got to play assignment football and limit those running lanes.
Yeah, it looked like Jacksonville to me, at least last week, going into the ball game. Obviously, Lindale was the favorite, but your team looked a lot more physical than Lindale did throughout the ball game. Lindale just kind of slipped away and got some big plays on you. But I know you got to feel good about how physical your team played.
We do, especially as good as Lindale's defense was coming into the game. That's a team that hasn't given up a lot of points this year. They held Corsicana to 7 points. They had a really good defense, but our offensive line played really physical, and we did some good things.
What are the keys to the game this week, Coach, at Nacogdoches to get the win for Jacksonville?
Yeah, if we'll just keep playing the way we're playing right now, we'll be okay. The thing about athletics is when you raise your level of play, eventually good things are going to happen. The score's going to come out your way. And I tell the kids all the time about quit looking at the scoreboard, worry about how you're playing, and that's hard for anyone to do. That's why the score is always on the screen on the television, because everybody wants to know. But if you'll just quit looking at the scoreboard and just keep doing your job and executing the plan, eventually you're going to walk off the field and look up and you're going to say, "Hey, we won."
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. Just keep focusing on that.
Well, it's Jacksonville versus Nacogdoches at Dragon Stadium. We'll be on the air on 103.9 starting at 7 o'clock. Kickoff at 7:30. Hope to see you there. For head coach Wayne Coleman, I'm Matt Montgomery. We'll see you next time right here on Smoke Signals.